Hey guys, it's Lizzie. So I used to make so many videos on relationship advice. It was my entire channel. I've probably made 100 videos talking about relationships, being single, dating, signs that a guy likes you, signs that a girl likes you, what to talk about on a first date, like everything. It was my entire channel for years. And I think I had a lot of burnout on what to talk about because I talked about it all the time. But I know people still have a lot of questions and wonder about these topics a lot. So I thought I would do a live stream just giving relationship advice and talking about how to get into a relationship. Because I think that's a problem, a question that I get a lot: how to get a boyfriend, how to get a girlfriend, people complaining about being single. And it's pretty easy to be in a relationship. But if you're in a stage right now where you're single, I also have a lot of advice that I want to share. Hi, Vince. Hi, Caitlin. My top fans are here right now. So I want to start by saying that people ask me the question a lot. Have you ever? Hi, Solus. Hi, Sophie. Hi, Ricardo. People ask me a lot, have you ever thought about becoming a nun? Would you want to become a nun? And my answer is always, if I wasn't in a relationship, if I wasn't in love, if I didn't have a boyfriend when I was in RCIA, I would definitely consider it. And even likely consider being a nun. I know it was an April Fool's Day prank like a couple years ago, but I really would consider it. And a lot of things I said in that video was true. And I think the reason is because I'm really comfortable being single and have throughout my life. And I think that if you're not comfortable being single, that's probably why you haven't gotten into a relationship, if that makes sense. Hi, Logan. Hi, Brendan. Hi, Paolo. Hi, Maria. Hi, Mariah. Hi, Fatima. This isn't clickbait at all. Have you finally watched Breaking in the Habit? No, I actually didn't because I made dinner right after the live stream, so I didn't watch anything. That's so funny. My friends Alec and Ryan said, also, I need to paint my nails. Also, I need to drink my LaCroix. So I'm reading this book right now, and it's called Story of a Soul by this saint who's from France, and she talks about her local newspaper is called LaCroix. Like her local newspaper is LaCroix. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I have LaCroix in my fridge. So I thought that was hilarious. So I'm kidding, Lizzie. Oh, come on. Father Casey Cole is great. You'd love him. I'm very disappointed. Oh my goodness. I have a horrible memory because of my bipolar, guys. So, my advice and the advice I'm going to tell my kids is to not be in a relationship when you're younger. And I was literally talking to one of my friends about this, how first relationships are always really bad. And if you're going into a relationship but it's one person's first relationship or both people's first relationship, it's just going to be a bad relationship. So you might as well get it over with and have a boyfriend or girlfriend in high school and like definitely or at the beginning of college at the latest or middle school just to like get over having a bad relationship. But I'm the exact opposite, where I actually think that it's a lot better to develop yourself and focus on school and focus on activities rather than falling in love. And I think I've seen a lot of people get hurt at a very young age from being in a relationship so young and from going through breakups. And so I put my all into school, into ballet, cross country and track, the debate team, creative writing, film, my YouTube channel. Like nothing would have happened in my life if I'd been spending a lot of time with a significant other. So I think it's really important when you're young to focus on yourself and focus on school and focus on friendships, which is another thing, because something really toxic in our culture, I think everyone focuses on, I want to get a boyfriend, I want to get a girlfriend, I want to get married someday, I want to find my significant other. But then once we get in those relationships, we cut off the rest of our friends and focus only on our significant other and don't focus on friendships once you grow up and have kids. So something one of my college professors said, it was like my first semester of college in my public speaking class. And the professor is like, you will get married in your life. Like, if you want to get married, you will get married. Almost everyone gets married. It's so easy to get married. Like it's so easy to find someone to marry. But that's bare minimum. Like, getting married and have kids is like minimum of what you should want to achieve in your life. Like, dream bigger. Have so many more dreams than just getting married being your thing. And I'm not at all putting down anyone who that's like like obviously as a Catholic, like I'm pro family, I'm pro having kids, but the whole point is that you should have so many that's so easy and obvious and that's going to happen for you regardless of how much you think it's unlikely. So, LOL, last year I was with my first boyfriend and I was his first serious girlfriend, and it was cool and awful at the same time. Yeah. So, a lot of people think your first relationship is awful. Like, my first relationship, I think we both didn't know what we were doing on like an emotional level, but it was an amazing relationship. And I think that it's good that it was like both of our first. I mean, I had a boyfriend like in middle school, but that doesn't count as a relationship, right? But it was both of our first relationship, and I think it was really special that neither of us had been with someone else, but we actually like really cared and connected with the other person. So I think it's really special having things that you're not like doing with so many other people. I'm not talking about physical things in a relationship, but just like that depth of like spiritual depth and intellectual connection. I think it's really beautiful when you have that with not as many people growing up. I honestly think that everyone is different, but I don't completely agree. I feel like things will hit you harder when you're older. When you're younger, you're going to know how guys are. Sister Lizzie 2020. I think it's cool to be his first serious girlfriend. The idea of actually finding a relationship sounds fake. Nope, I plan on being a virgin and living celibate my whole life. That's beautiful. I'm glad you figured that out. Hey Lizzie, I learned I like being single rather than married. See, and that's the thing too. A lot of people like being single rather than being married. So something I wanted to say though, because a lot of people who complain about being single haven't discovered dating apps. So I went to 4 or 5 weddings last year, and 3 of them met on Tinder or Bumble, and now they're getting married. So I highly recommend. We're living in 2020. Obviously, we can't date right now because of COVID. But once COVID is over, download a dating app. You could even download it now and have a Zoom date and meet each other that way. That might actually be better for a lot of people. Maybe you'll actually get to know the person rather than hooking up. Maybe that's like the new thing. Maybe Tinder could have like a video chatting software installed in it so you could do like Zoom type dates together. But anyways, pretty much all my friends have met their significant other on a dating app on Tinder or Bumble. And one of my best friends who just got married last year, she said she went on like 100 dates. And I think she was exaggerating, but I still think she went on like a bajillion dates trying to find the person. And then she finally found this person who she's really compatible with and loves, and they have an amazing relationship together. So that's what I recommend. Going on dating apps, not giving up, trying and trying and trying and trying. Eventually, you'll find someone who you connect with. And that's something else. I think that is Lizzie still Catholic? Yes. If you want to find the right person, pray to the Virgin Mary. That's something else. You can pray about finding a relationship if that's something really important to you. I've seen so many prayers answered and so many miracles happen through the rosary. So I highly recommend that. And Trevor ever. My parents are very conservative, and I tell them I'm having a date by Tinder, they wouldn't let me have it. That's so interesting because you in your culture you have to live at home until you're married, but then they won't let you meet someone on an app to get married. So what do you do? I'm civilly divorced. I'm working with a life coach right now and will eventually get an annulment. I've been alone for 6 years now. I think I've given up on the idea of love. That's really, really sad. But I think it's kind of like what Michelle was saying, where some people too like the idea of being single rather than being married. So it's kind of up to you and what you've decided and what you like a lot. But something else that I wanted to share, and I'm going to start doing my nails because if you notice, like I mentioned in the live stream last night that I was using this hand to film B-roll for a video, and then I was holding the camera with this hand, so I never did this hand. So I have an envelope here, which I'm so happy I showed it like this and not the other way, because if I dox myself, that would be very disturbing. I would probably try to move just because I have a couple stalkers who I would actually like to make a video talking about it because I think it's interesting having a stalker and like the amount of like emails and pictures and like everything sent to me. I think it's a really interesting topic. And I know like Tana Mojo built her entire brand talking about her stalkers. And I feel like it made the problem worse by her talking about it, because then her stalker will watch it and get even crazier, which I think is what happened. But then at the same time, it's like you don't want to encourage the person even more. But then also, it's kind of your story to tell. So, anyways, LA is a huge place. So, I've never shared like where I live. And it's weird to me that people do share where they live. For example, um, I was just watching a YouTuber and they were talking about what city they live in the video. And even another YouTuber I watch, she was getting people showing up at her house and people were sending mail to her house like fans, but it was creepy because it wasn't her PO box. And then another YouTuber, everyone also knows where she lives. So basically, like a lot of YouTubers I watch share the city they live in, and then people look around on Google Maps and find exactly where they live and literally show up to people's houses. So that will never happen to me. Lucas, thank you for the donation. Pray for me. I'm getting confirmed tomorrow. That's so excited. Dear God, thank you so much for Lucas and his faith. Just pour into him your spirit and give him so much strength to live out the faith for his entire life and to get into heaven, and help him to pray so much with his patron saint and get really close and get immersed in the fellowship of the saints. In the name of the Father, Spirit, Holy Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. It's weird praying online. Can I stalk myself, or is this just being crazy? I prayed for God to send me a man that will love me and respect me, and he answered my prayers. There's hope, guys. Yeah, but ultimately, like, just use the dating apps and say that you're Catholic on your dating app, and you'll find someone else who is Catholic. And actually, one of my friends who is Catholic, he said that everyone on his dating app was debating theology with him, and he was like trying to convert people on Tinder, or maybe it was Bumble. Anyways, he was like debating all these women on Catholicism because they believed all these lies about Catholicism. So it's also a way to convert people into the faith. Tinder and Bumble are evangelism tools, or Coffee Meets Bagel, whichever dating app you personally want to use. But something else I want to talk about is friendship. I think that when I was in college, when I was like a senior in college, basically all of my friend group was single or doing long distance, and their significant other wasn't on our college campus. And we got so close to each other. And if one of us had been in a relationship, we wouldn't have been as close as friends. And I was literally talking to my friend about this a few days ago, and how so many people, after they get married, they only focus on their kids. And this is what I was saying. This is like bare minimum from your life. Like, you're going to get married, you're going to have kids. Like, what other dreams do you have? And so many people don't pay attention to their friends. They only pay attention to their family unit, like their spouse and their kids, and that's it. And they don't have time for other friends and other interests and other hobbies. And when I say have other dreams, I'm not saying you have to work and have a career. I'm just talking about like other interests you have in your lives besides relationships, because relationships are beautiful, but ultimately you have to find other passions within yourself and ultimately other ways to connect with God, or that's not going to be a full life. It's not going to be fulfilled. You're not going to be happy if that's all that there is. And I think that especially with a significant other, and this is what I've had to learn with my boyfriend. So I remember vividly having a conversation with one of my best friends, like when I was in college. And I said, I want to find a boyfriend and a husband who understands me spiritually, emotionally, intellectually. We connect physically, like everything is perfectly lined up. We have like the exact same prayer life. We're interested in the same philosophers. We studied the same things. I wanted like a perfect lineup of character traits. And definitely my boyfriend understands me, but there are core parts of me that he doesn't understand and can't connect with. And that's fine. And that's why you have friendships in your life. If you're looking for a significant other and you have like this list of things they perfectly have to understand, it's just unrealistic and you're not going to be happy in your relationship. And I think for a long time, I struggled with it, where even in my own relationship, because there's certain ways that we're different from each other. And I was like, do I really want to be with someone who doesn't understand this part of me? But then I realized probably like a year ago or something that it's really amazing that he doesn't get certain parts of me, and that there's certain parts of me that I share with one of my best friends, one of my greatest friends. We connect over this. We have all of these memories together. They understand my exact philosophical taste. This friend understands this specific part of my prayer life. Like, it's amazing when you have a blend of so many people in your life. And it's beautiful that it takes like a dozen people or something to understand all the parts of you. That's, I think, the most people you can have in your life. Like 12 people, I feel like is tops. If you include like your family and your friends, I feel like I don't have more than 12 people who are like core parts of my life, right? Like, you can't have more friends than that. Vince said, "What is a relationship and should Zoom with me and my friends?" What does that mean? Lizzie, you have to watch. There's a lot of crazies out there. Lizzie, 2 live streams in a row. I know. I just had so much fun in the last live stream. Also, the reason I'm wearing headphones is because I'm coming with my headphones, because there were so many people outside of my house who were not social distancing and were like shouting and singing and like dancing and hanging out. And like, are they just on the corner of the street hanging out? Like, I don't understand. Like, go into it, but I don't really understand what's going on. So also, the fireworks are so loud. I don't know what the deal is, and I actually think it's a positive thing, but in so many cities, there's like a select group of people who are choosing to set off fireworks in solidarity with Black Lives Matter. Like, I'm so confident it's with Black Lives Matter, because people are talking about it on Twitter, and it's happening everywhere. Like, comment if in your city Black Lives Matter people are doing fireworks. Like, I think it's beautiful. It reminds us that there's protests going on. It reminds us that there is police brutality going around, but like in a peaceful way. So I seriously don't like fireworks. Keeps buffering the video, or is it just me? On my end, it says that it's buffering too. Fireworks are awful for the environment. Thank you for making this video so needed. Flirt to convert. Something else I want to say, I think that a lot of people think that you have to marry a Catholic and date a Catholic. And I've seen through my YouTube ministry so many conversions of atheist to Catholic, Protestant to Catholic, agnostic to Catholic, Jewish to Catholic, Muslim to Catholic, like so many conversions within relationships. So if you're dating someone, obviously you shouldn't go into the relationship believing 100% they're going to become Catholic. But I wouldn't write someone off if they're not Catholic. And obviously they're joking, flirt to convert. But it's a real thing where if you're really close to someone spiritually, they're going to listen to you and hear your perspectives and want to get to know you more in a way that regular friendships and even regular best friendships wouldn't do. So I do not recommend writing someone out if they're not Catholic. Like, I've just read so many stories of people who end up becoming Catholic, and they wouldn't have been Catholic if they weren't dating someone who is Catholic or married to someone who is Catholic. So don't give up hope and pray all the time. And I think for some people, it is really important to be with someone who shares your faith and understands it, and you can raise your kids together. But ultimately, being married is helping each other get to heaven. And the way we live out our faith and the way we love God is through actions. And so if this person is living out righteous actions and acting Christ-like and will spur you along in your faith and cause you to do righteous actions, they may be helping you get to heaven. If you feel like you become closer to God because of the relationship, even if they're not Catholic, I think you should just take that into account. And when it comes to moral formation, like maybe they'll convert when you guys are older, but maybe they'll also be a really good parent to your children if they agree to raise your children Catholic and go to mass and everything. So as long as you find someone who's not like negative about the faith, I feel would you consider doing some live streams earlier in the day? I have a friend in North Africa who I'm sure would enjoy coming on here, but he's always asleep when you come online. Okay, because I live on literally the opposite side of the country as you. So, like, it's not that late here. Maybe I should start streaming. When I stream earlier, people actually aren't on. Sometimes I stream on my Instagram earlier in the day, but okay, something else, since this is about relationships and how to get into a relationship. So I highly recommend for the girl to make the first move. And this is why. So I'm a very extroverted person. I'm a huge extrovert. Sometimes I get drained by people and stuff, but generally I'm an extrovert. Like when I take MBTI, Myers Briggs, personality type things, like I'm an extrovert. So the guys who I'm attracted to are introverts. Like majority of the time, it's just how it works, opposites attract. And so if I'm a very outgoing, like chasing after people type person, and I'm going after someone who's not like that, they're not going to make the first move. And so I think it's really important that if you're an aggressive, outgoing, extroverted female, to make the first move, to ask a guy for his number, to text him back, to be like, let's FaceTime, let's talk on the phone, join my Bible study group. Like, be the person to go out there and initiate things. And you don't have to make everything into a date. I'm all for having chill boundaries going into it. By boundaries, I don't mean physical boundaries. I just mean you don't have to like define the relationship early on. You don't have to be like, will you go on a date with me? You can be like, let's go get coffee together. Want to go out to dinner tomorrow night? You know what I mean? You don't need to make it into like, let's go on a date, because that can scare people away. And I think also sometimes you can find out that you're not compatible just by hanging out a lot, but you aren't going to immediately be like, is this a date? Are we going on a date? Just like casually hang out with people, and then you can define the relationship. But from the beginning, I recommend, thank you for the donation, gal. From the beginning, I recommend just being really chill about things. And I know like every Catholic YouTuber will disagree with me on that, but I just think that I'm younger than a lot of the Catholic influencers. And so if you are like, I'm basically, my sister described it as, if you sneezed, you would be Gen Z, because I'm so close to Gen Z. I think I'm like 3 years older than them. So if you are Gen Z and you're younger, because I know I do have a younger audience, I recommend being chill, just being like, do you want to get lunch together? Do you want to come hiking with my friend group? Make sure there's other people. Don't ask a random person to go hiking. They could be a serial killer. I actually read a viral tweet. It was probably made up, but someone was like, my best friend got asked by a guy on Tinder to go hiking. The next day, there was an article that he murdered someone. And I think it was a fake tweet, but it went viral because it's like, wow, that could actually happen with Tinder. So, yeah, so girls pursue guys, go on dating apps. Oh, flirt with people, let them know that you're interested in them. I've made so many videos on this, but just have constant eye contact when you're talking to people, laugh at their jokes, touch their arm when you're laughing. Basic things to flirt with someone. Listen to people. I feel like that's the number one thing that's really important. Ask questions and listen. I have a whole video talking about questions to ask on the first date. So if you go to my YouTube channel, on the home page, there's a playlist of all my relationship videos. You can go through those videos if you're interested in specific videos of how to flirt with someone, what to talk about on the first date, how to know if someone's attracted to you. But I feel like eye contact is really important, smiling, laughing, asking questions, and really just trying to get to know someone's soul. And something else really important, if you're attracted to someone, oh my gosh, I was so awkward when talking to my crush from high school. Tell your vegan girlfriend to eat meat. I don't, what? Who is that to? Gen Z is people born from 1993 and after, even though they aren't that young no more. Actually, my friend who is born in 1990, wait, you said from 1993? No, it's 1996 and after. or 1997 even. Oh, the other thing I was going to talk about in this live stream. So, if you are going into a new relationship, how to not get hurt in the relationship. So, don't share like deep things about your soul early on if you're attracted to someone, in case they end up not being into you or you end up not being in a relationship. So, if you have not defined the relationship yet, and you aren't in a relationship and you're not sure if there's mutual feelings going on, don't like pour out your soul to someone really early on. And I think it's something that happens in like college a lot, where you're on the campus together and you're like talking in the cafeteria until 2 a.m. or something, and you're like sharing your soul and sharing all these deep things about yourself. So get to know someone really fast. Obviously, don't do anything physical early on. I don't kiss someone unless I'm like actually in a relationship with them. And even then, I recommend waiting a couple months. Like, I'm serious on this. I know people are going to think it's crazy, but I think it's good to just get to know someone on an intellectual level, on a spiritual level, do a lot of things together. But all the physical things can happen gradually. And I think ultimately, if you rush into something and are physical from the beginning, it's just, I don't think it's good. I think it's good to be patient, to wait, to be really, really, really slow with physical things. And I've made so many videos talking about like how far is too far, and physical boundaries, and how to maintain physical boundaries, and why to not have sex until marriage, and all of these things. So you guys have probably watched a lot of these videos. I kind of had a mini crush on a guy in my class a couple months ago, but then coronavirus happened. So yeah, I gave up. I'm sure a lot of people are like that, where they were talking to someone that it's like, oh, okay, it's COVID. Read the super chats. She ordered the whole menu, by the way. True story. I went on a date and the bill was $123. If that happened and I was the guy, I'd be like, we're splitting this. I would just say that straight up, especially if you're younger. That's like a lot of money if you're like in college, or you know what I mean? Hi, Lizzie. I'm Guys. Sorry for the old joke. I don't get why people cheat. Don't be in a relationship when you're going to cheat on them. Be celibate or something. Yeah. Cheating culture is so weird. Like, I actually made a whole live stream a while ago talking about how to not cheat in a relationship, because it's like a bipolar manic symptom to cheat on people and to go have sex with random people. So I'm like always worried about that, you know? So my thing in the video was just, if you're attracted to someone, cut them out of your life. You don't need to have people in your life who you're attracted to and who are going to cause any feelings to come up. So that's what I recommend. I hate that guys actually feel bad sometimes asking to split the check. Like, that should be the natural response. No. I feel like, especially at sorry, I thought that said something different. Sorry, I deleted your message, Craig. Is there a way to undo it? I thought it was the fart guy, and so I automatically just got rid of things. Trevor said INTJ. Trevor 2020. Okay, I'll tell him that you guys want him to be president, because the presidential choices are just horrible. So, cheating on your girlfriend or boyfriend is a sin too. It's not adultery, but it's still, yeah, absolutely, it's still a sin, because it's hurting someone. Yeah, I mean, it's basically like committing in my four, forget what the four sins are. Murder. Okay, so apostasy, so denying the faith, adultery, and murder. So I think it was three things that they confessed: murder, denying the faith, adultery. Those were the only sins that they confessed to church. And when they confessed them, everyone collectively decided what their penance was. And a lot of times, penance would last for several years or the rest of your life if you do something like deny the faith. So, Taylor Swift 2020. American Solidarity Party 2020. Pope Francis 2020. When I click to your live, it automatically takes me to 10 minutes behind, and I have to move the red ball to get what you're currently saying. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's messing up today or something. I don't know the way live streams work. I'm currently deciding my 2021 plans. I'm probably going to study abroad in Japan to continue studying Japanese and then start college later that year. That sounds really fun. I've only been in the Japanese area. Actually, I do have a lot of thoughts on the culture. So, one of my best friends from college, who's from Singapore, lived in Japan for 6 months, and he said like I would be horrible there because I did this like summer missions trip thing in Thailand, and I was okay in Thailand, but in Japan, it's just so indirect the way they communicate. And I'm such a direct person and like so outgoing and demanding with the way my personality is. So he was like, you would not survive in Japan at all. Is Taylor Swift even Christian anymore? I don't know. She claims to be Christian in her documentary that recently came out, but I'm a celebrity. So, yes, Japan is extremely passive aggressive in terms of culture. Yeah, you would be really expressive in Japan. I would be too, to be honest. Taylor Swift is not. She is a partial Christian. Yes, she claims to be. But if you're not attending church, I mean, technically, like,